Today, carbon emissions are ballooning into a massive problem. We were wondering,
Our claim is that carbon emissions cause climate change by putting greenhouse gases into the atmosphere and contributing to climate change. To combat this issue, scientists are working on making new, efficient, renewable resources and cars to reduce pollution.
recently the major industrial powerhouse governments such as the United States has pulled out of the Paris Accords climate agreement, which came with much outcry. In addition, Pope Francis and the Ecumencio Patriarch created a joint statement on the environment acknowledging about global climate change, asking Christians to pray for the good of the environment and to use what the earth provides responsibly. Even governments and different religions have to take note of the effects on climate change.
First, we need to understand a little bit about carbon emissions. Early in Earth's history, according to Ed Pell's The Carbon Cycle, the global carbon cycle, crash course number 46, the atmosphere is primarily superheated with lots of carbon. With the discussion of climate change, the amount of carbon emissions have increased by 50%, according to the video, A Brief History of Carbon Emissions. From 1995 to 2013, carbon emissions in the atmosphere exponentially increased. Many nations have met together to discuss about the rising climate change. It is estimated that 51.2% of carbon emissions come from households and 21.3% from driving, according to the case study, Urban Households, Climate Change, Carbon Emissions, and Contributing Factors. Other contributing factors can also lead to climate change.
We humans are part of a much larger system of living and non-living things. As Chapter 6.1 states, humans are part of the Earth's food and chemical webs. These food webs form feedback loops, which as Ed Puzzle, feedback loops how nature gets its rhythm explains. This means that part of the system affects how the system runs. When we pollute the environment, we damage food webs, resulting in habitat fragmentation and loss of biodiversity, according to Chapter 6.3. According to an article, A Clean Revolution, to combat this issue, new renewable energy sources have been developed and made cheaper. For example, since 2008, the price to install a solar panel had dropped by a staggering 75%. On top of that, article U.S. Energy Facts Explains mentions how the usage of coal dropped during 2008 to 2016. However, there is still a long way to go to meet the 2050 85% renewable energy quota, according to article Renewables Are the Key to a Climate-Safe World. National Geographic's video Renewable Energy 101 explains that there are two main reasons that renewable energies are so desirable. First of all, renewable energies will almost never run out. Sources like the wind and sun are practically limitless compared to the finite amount of non-renewable sources such as coal or oil. From our lab, Climate, Weather, and Trees, we learned that the temperatures have been steadily climbing in almost all parts of the world for decades now. In our lab, Climate and the Cryosphere has taught us that these temperature changes have caused glaciers to melt, sea levels to rise, and certain coastal cities to flood, creating major issues.
To alleviate this issue, humans have turned to developing renewable energy sources such as nuclear power. According to the video Nuclear Energy Explained by Kazan in a nutshell, humans have been able to produce electricity with nuclear power at a reasonably fair cost with far less carbon emissions. Furthermore, new energies are being developed and made cheaper, as described in case study Energy Efficacy and Renewable Energy, which focuses on renewable energy to reduce household carbon emissions in 4 regions of New York. It also found that by switching to renewable energy, an office could potentially save 45% of its budget it is normally required for energy.
On top of reducing carbon emissions, the creation of more effective cars with new methods of generating energy is necessary. According to Chapter 6.2 in the textbook, smog and air pollutants can disrupt the cleanliness of ecosystems. In addition, according to 2 NASA case studies, carbon is rapidly changing the climate throughout the world, such as wildfires and ocean acidification. Today, according to the NOVA documentary Car of the Future, major vehicles today are pioneering new technologies such as flex vehicles and cellulosic ethanol. Furthermore, we interview Mrs. Ma, California Air Resource Board researcher, to see what is being done today to reduce carbon emissions from cars.
Hi, so today we have Miss Ma. So she is a researcher here at the California Air Resources Board. So what is being done today to reduce carbon emissions in the vehicles that we drive in?
Okay, I think there are 2 ways. Okay, number one is we set up the emission standards for the vehicle we're using. And the other way we could reduce the carbon emission is that we promote electronic vehicle, alternative fuel.
Next, we asked Mr. Young what kind of cars are climate friendly and how they are being marketed.
That Toyota does not believe that the battery or electric car is the future. They believe the fuel cell is the future, which is powered by an electric motor, but fueled from the energy from a fuel cell.
The intention of all these different forms is to try to reduce global aerosol concentrations as seen in charts from Air, Water, Land, and Life, a global perspective lab. Furthermore, according to the Normal Climate Patterns Lab and the Geologic Timing is Everything Lab, the climate often changes in the world we live in, whether from millions of years ago to this current day. Areas of the U.S. are getting hotter faster, just only in a couple of decades versus the millions of years it would normally take. On the other hand, some articles, such as the University of Chicago article about the cost of renewable energy, states that costs are slightly higher than that of normal costs using non-renewable energy sources, even being some 17% cheaper due to market taxes on renewable energy. Still paying a little bit more is what would the cost if it helps preserve a balance of biodiversity on Earth. We need to be responsible of taking care of the many ecosystems of the planet along with all the systems of planet Earth in general. To do this, we can make the most out of renewable energy sources and alternative fuels for vehicles to make sure we live comfortably and in harmony with the rest of the Earth.